Keith Hanson put out a tweet, hansonsrun.com.
Kevin Hanson.
Excuse me. And this tweet says, I believe that the women's world record marathon will be 2:12 in the next 2 years. The fact that women are running 2:14 in the most inefficient way possible indicates huge jumps are ahead. I think probably, like 2:13.00 is the over-under for 2 years. I think that's where we're at. This was crazy. I mean, I guess you got... so you got to go 66:30 and 66:30. Yeah, I think we might be pretty close.
I think so too. I don't think that's crazy to suggest.
John, do we need to buy the plane tickets now to Valencia? I mean, do we think Gide could get the record in her first attempt?
I think she could.
Do you think she'll have the balls essentially to do that, to go for it?
What did she do in her first half marathon in Valencia? Well, then she destroyed the world record, 62:52. That was her debut. So Robert threw this out in the week that was this week. Can Gide go to Valencia and break the world record in her debut marathon? I think absolutely she could. We are looking. Let Hessenbeck Gide, probably the most talented long distance runner in the history of women's distance running. She's got the world records at the 5,000, 10,000, and half marathon. The longer she goes in distance, the better she seems to get. I wouldn't put it past her. Now, yes, you need good weather. You need to make sure her training's gone well. And you need, most importantly, she needs to commit to going for it. And sometimes you don't want to do that. Look at Yalemzev Yahalor. She's an insane talent as well. But when she debuted, in Hamburg earlier this year, ran 2:17, debut record, but also wanted to be a little careful. That's why they wanted a major. Now she's in London. Her marathon career is going great. But yes, if Gide takes a swing at it, I wouldn't be shocked if she broke the world record in the marathon.
I'll go a step farther, John. If the Valencia organizers tell me the week of the race that she's going for the world record, I fully expect it to go down. I mean, this is a woman who, the longer she runs, the better she seems to get, and she seems ideally suited for the road. Remember, she really drew our attention, well, in addition to the 2 World Junior cross-country titles that she won, which is ridiculous. How do you beat everybody when you're a teenager and everybody 2 or 3 years older than you? But was when she ran that 44:20 15K on the roads the same year Bridget Koskei set the marathon world record. It was a few months after that. Like, we put this into the IAAF conversion tables, and it converted to like 63:07 and a half marathon. The half marathon, the fastest anyone in a run at the time was like 64:28. That was on an aided course. The world record was like 64:50 something. Well, guess what? The world record now is faster than what's crazy. It's her 62:52. So faster than the scoring tables predicted. Scoring tables were predicted 2:11 marathon. Now, the scoring tables have changed that to 2:16, but John Kellogg at 2:13.30 for the half marathon. I think 2:13 would be expected. 2:12 wouldn't shock me, but what a talent.
Well, I've got to ask you guys something about the shoes, because obviously a lot of these times, getting faster across the board. And that's one of the reasons why is they're now running 2 or 3 minutes faster, pretty much everyone, right? But I got a DM from someone important in the sport, I'll just say that. And they were saying to me, they said, I'm revising my estimate that it's giving people 3 to 4 minutes in a marathon. So they already were sort of more bullish than we were on the impact of the shoes. I think for some folk, it's a lot more than that. Imagine if Chepngetich in Chicago had run, say, 66:30 through halfway. We might well have been looking at negative splits and something in the sub 2:13 region, certainly well below 2:14. It's getting really silly. So this person is saying it might be more worth 4 or 5 minutes in the marathon on the women's side. And it is worth pointing out, until 2017, there was only one woman in history who had broken 2:18 in a marathon. That was Paula Radcliffe. 2017, we had Mary Keitany and Tirunesh Dibaba both do 2:17s in London. Remember, that was they didn't have super shoes in that race because Keitany was an Adidas athlete. Dibaba maybe had a prototype, I'm not sure. And Keitany also paced that thing a little aggressively. She maybe could have run 2:16 on the day. But until then, Radcliffe was the only one who'd run under 218, and now we have lots of women running under 218. We've got a 214 and a 215 already this fall. We had Kozgai run 216.02 in Tokyo. What do you guys think? Do you think it's possible these things are worth 4 or 5 women, 4 or 5 minutes for the elite women, or is that a little bit too aggressive? We just got a real glut of talent in the event right now.
I think 4 or 5 minutes is a bit aggressive. Maybe this is Paula Radcliffe talent now with super shoes. Because Paula's record was so out there. What do you think Paula will run with super shoes, right? I don't think he's going to run, but I think it's in that range. Well, I don't know, actually. Do we have any reason? We need to get a biomechanicist on here. Is there any reason it would help women? Maybe percentage-wise, they're a little bit slower than men, more than men, essentially. So that'd be more time. But I don't know. But 4 to 5 seems a little bit high. 2 to 3, probably for me. 3 to 4.
Yeah, what I've always heard from the people in the know is that it really helps out the people who didn't have great strides to begin with. That's where you can make your biggest gains. I think maybe that's more true on the track than it is on the roads. On the roads, it seems to help pretty much everyone. But yeah, if some of these athletes are super responder, if you think it's all right, baseline maybe 2:30 to 3 minutes for a woman, but then if they're a super responder, maybe they get 4 minutes. I could see that. But I also think some of these women are just super talents. I think Yahalor is a massive talent. Sorry, I keep pronouncing her name differently every time. I'm going to figure it out eventually. I think it's Yahalor. Yalamzov Yahalor. I think she's a super talent. Tigges to Sefa, who the hell knows, but maybe she's just been a marathon. Like the way her coach Gamedu Defo describes her workouts, she might be a crazy talent. I think Kozgai's a huge marathon talent, and I think that Gide is going to be one. So I think it's kind of a combination, but yeah, maybe the shoes are worth a little bit more than we thought. Maybe some of these women are just super responders.
It's interesting because if you'd ask me, just from a theoretical standpoint, I would say women are lighter. The super foam is not going to help them as much, but the World Athletics study said 2.6% for the women, 2% for the men. So it's the opposite of what I would think. I would think the heavier you are, the more, it would help you. I don't think, part of the problem is I think there are super responders. I would think, one of the things is I think Gide is a super responder. That's why I think she's like that 15K. I was like, whoa, this is amazing. Like, put her in the marathon right now. So, but it also could be that like, we just didn't have, Africa was a very sexist place 25 years ago and 20 years ago, and Paul Radcliffe was running. It's less sexist now, but we're getting more talent on the female side out there. So, that could be part of it. But one other thing I wanted to say about the Chicago crazy first half is, historians, her first half should remind people we should have put this in the week, though. In the recap, 1985, Steve Jones went out in 61:42 for the first half when the world record was 2:07:12. So he went out basically in 2:03, 25 pace. So he's over 3.5 minutes faster than the pace. That's basically what she did this year. She went out in 65:40. That's 2:11:20. It's 3 minutes. So, and Jones faded and missed it by 1 second. So, kind of cool to see it happen. Man, I guess you'd like him to get the record, but it's almost more fun. Like when they do it, you're like, well, is she going to hold on? What's going on? This is crazy.
Oh, it's definitely fun watching that. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about some of the other storylines from Chicago.